No one was voted into the Hall of Fame this go round, which includes, of course, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. For more, I'm joined now by Emma Bachelarian. Emma, when it comes to Bonds, for me, this is the best baseball player I've ever seen. And the way I always put it, he was the best before cheating, and he was the best at cheating. Before the PED links, I'd argue he was better than Ken Griffey Jr. Afterwards, he became Babe Ruth. And I think people are smart enough to understand that that is a part of his legacy. But you're telling me by not putting him in, everything I watched doesn't count. And it gets hard for me to take the Hall of Fame seriously when Bonds isn't in it. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think it's impossible to tell the story of baseball without him, and particularly the story of baseball over the last 30 years. And I think not having him in the Hall really kind of disenfranchises a whole generation of fans, um, and divorces their experience of baseball, which, as you said, he is such an integral part of that. No one under the age of 40 has seen anyone like him before. To not have that represented in the Hall of Fame, I think really does kind of set up a huge question for younger fans, of why should you care if this isn't considered something that can be, appropriately contextualized and caveated, but still placed in the Hall of Fame, then what does baseball have to give you if it can't represent those experiences that were so important to the way we watched baseball, throughout the 90s and 2000s?
Yeah, you talked about the history of the game. I mean, it's a museum, right? I mean, that's part of Bonds' story. I'm not saying to shy away from it. You could put that on the plaque. You can, delineate it however you would like to do it. But just keeping him out seems foolish considering what he accomplished in the game. And yeah, also you're going to have the future cases to deal with, Alex Rodriguez, and then the idea of like how you determine when someone started cheating, or who cheated, who didn't cheat, everything like that. I just don't know how you can look at Bonds' complete resume, all-time home run leader, all the MVPs, everything that he did, and go, yeah, I can't vote for him.
Yeah, and as you said, it is a museum, and I think there's kind of been an effort to separate the Hall of Fame part from the museum part. And I don't think that should be the case. This isn't a Hall of Saints that we're honoring for perfect contributions to baseball and to life. I think it makes sense to have the actual hall part of the building feel more like a museum. As you said, we have that plaque. We can put the proper information to give context on that, to spell out his full legacy, not just, the best parts. But yeah, I think it's just impossible to be able to tell this story without him.
And I also think to the PED aspect of it, he wasn't a creation of the PED. I mean, you talk about the word enhancing drugs. I think it enhanced what Bonds was clearly, but it didn't create the gifted player that Bonds was.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And also, as we know, the game was not set up to appropriately handle this at the time, and now it's paying the price. But it wasn't doing anything to crack down on that as it was happening. And now kind of fans, voters, everyone else is left to sift through, how do we repair this when baseball wasn't as diligent about it if it wanted to keep this out as it should have been.
And you're basically punishing Bonds and Clemens for the sins of many.